Welcome to the 7 Things Masterclass. Get my phone situated here. I'm super excited to run this masterclass because I feel like it's important that we learn the things that tend to get in our way. It's important that we learn how to overcome the common things that tend to get in our way. So although there's a lot I could teach you about how to effectively reach your weight loss goals or how to effectively reach your muscle gains goals, I think it's also important to mention what we could be doing wrong to look out for it and make sure that we're not applying all of this effort, doing all of this work just to be sabotaging our results on the back end or doing something that we didn't even know could be interfering with our progress or with our results. And I know there are a lot of different diets and different ways out there, trendy ways to go about weight loss. However, if we're not looking at the things that we're doing incorrectly, then nothing is really going to work long term. So the goal here is to make you like an expert at your weight loss journey. And sometimes that means figuring out what is also stopping us. So I'm just going to get right into it because I respect your time. And if you're watching this on the replay, shout out to you for coming back to this. So let's get started. Now, these are in no particular order. So it's not like number 1 is the biggest lesson. It's not like number 7 is the least or vice versa. I'm just going to kind of go through these bit by bit. And I want you to really reflect as I go through these and see, okay, which ones of these am I doing or can I recognize in my own routines? So for starters, one of the 7 things that tends to interfere with weight loss, progress, and results is a sedentary lifestyle. And this does not mean that you do not work out. You can be sedentary and still have an ongoing gym routine. You can work out 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week and still technically be sedentary. And many of us experience that because if you think about if we sit at a desk all day and then when we go home, we sit on the couch and then we go to bed and then we maybe carve out 45 minutes to an hour to work out, that's still considered sedentary because the great majority of our day, we're sitting down. And I know that this is something that I can get caught up with because majority of the work I do, I'm right here sitting in this desk. So if I'm not making the effort to go and move, and this doesn't mean to work out longer, it just means to get more steps, to do more things that move my body. Now, this can be cleaning, it can be walking the dog, which by the way, it's hot. If it's hot, don't walk the dog, your poor little dog. But it's just general activity. This, I think, when many people think of okay, I don't want to be sedentary, how do I not be sedentary? They think that I'm saying you have to work out more hours or do cardio, and that's absolutely not what I'm saying. In fact, just general movement, standing up at your desk instead of sitting down is considered just general movement. So making sure that if you have an Apple Watch, let's say, or something, or a Fitbit that tracks your steps, a really good benchmark is to be between 7,000 and 10,000 steps. The closer you can get to 10,000, the better. And if you're far below that, which the average American doesn't even get 4,000 steps a day, if you're far below that, at least you have room for improvement, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be working out more or eating less or doing anything else, it's just moving a little bit more. If this is difficult for you, let's say you don't really have any say in your schedule or the amount of time you can spend working out, then maybe having a 15 to 30 minute brisk walk on a treadmill, let's say after your workout, so that way you're not having to figure out where to put more movement throughout your day. That can help too. So just figuring out what makes more sense for you, but a sedentary lifestyle can absolutely get in your way, even if you're eating healthy, even if you're working out, even if you're doing all the other things right. Second thing that can hinder progress is not being bought in mentally. And this might sound crazy, but I have seen it happen, and it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. If you don't think you can reach the goal, or if you don't have trust in the process that you are on, it's very possible that you are going to sabotage the results. And this is very much like law of attraction, right? If the whole time you're exercising, you're eating the food, you're taking the instruction, if the whole time you're just thinking about this isn't going to work, this is not going to work, I never lose weight, I gain weight so easy, I'm not going to lose weight. If you're not mentally bought in, you're attracting more of where you are, which is obviously not what you want, right? That's why you're working out and eating healthier. You want to be healthier. You want to lose weight. But if you don't trust yourself to get there, or the process, or you're just not mentally there, it's going to be really difficult to attract success. It's kind of like people that have a poor mentality happen to stay poor because they can't see themselves any other way. So this is your key to really work on that mindset. Remember that you do deserve to be happy. You do deserve to have the body that you want. And if you work towards it, and if you follow the lead of a coach, or if you work in a program and you follow the instructions, that you can have whatever physique or whatever body that you want. But you have to believe that first. And also you have to be bought in, so that way in the back of your mind, you don't have this voice constantly telling you that you're not going to get there, it's not going to work for you. Third thing is not tracking your food accurately. And it's funny because when I was studying for my nutrition certifications, there was actually a study that showed that people who track their food have a tendency of being up to 30% off on their tracking. And this could be, well, for one, it could be carelessness, but I think for most people, it's just maybe going through it too quickly or not taking the time that they need to make sure their measurements are correct. Working with so many women as I have at this point, I know sometimes it can be using the food tracking app incorrectly. Like if you're using MyFitnessPal, then it's very possible maybe you found the wrong ingredient or the wrong quantity, and your whole calorie count for the day is off because of just like error using the app. So when it comes to food tracking, if you're going to spend the time to do it right, because otherwise you're putting all of this effort into this activity, which is very helpful. It's very useful to track your food, or else how do you know how much you're eating if you need to be consuming more calories or less? You never know unless you track it. So if you're going to take the time to do it, then make sure you're doing it correctly, and make sure you're actually taking the time to measure or weigh, or however you want to do it. There are actually methods of food tracking that only involve your hands. So, you can have a palm of your protein, you can have a cup full of carb, a thumb of fat, and you can use that so that way you're not having to measure or use measuring cups. It can be really easy. Hi! Saw a little hi in the comments. So you don't always have to use like super traditional food tracking systems. If counting calories maybe triggers something in you that maybe you don't like, there are a lot of ways that you can do it. And if enough people tell me that they need help with this, I can do a separate training on this topic here. But please, make sure you are putting in the time and energy to track effectively and accurately, so that way you can be sure that you're right on the right track. I have seen so many instances where people yes, I track my food, and yes, I've been doing it for a long time, and then we kind of start working together, and we find out that they've been eating significantly less than they thought. And well, no wonder I'm not building muscle, no wonder my body's just holding on to this weight for dear life, because I'm literally starving myself. So tracking effectively, accurately is super important, and I'm very confident that probably everyone that watches this video is gonna bypass this one, because they're gonna be well, I track effectively. Because how do you know that you don't track effectively, right? Unless someone goes in and checks it and measures and weighs it with you and tells you that it's wrong, how will you ever know? But this, I mentioned this in here because it's highly likely that your tracking is not spot on if you're rushing through it. So take your time, make sure it's right, or else why even do it at all? The fourth thing that can hinder or slow down your progress, and this one's a big one because you might think, well, if I'm working out consistently several times a week, I'm lifting weights, I'm eating healthy, I'm tracking my food, why am I just stuck at this weight? Why am I not moving anywhere? So this one is that your workouts are no longer challenging you, or you are no longer pushing your boundaries during your workouts. And it can be very easy to fall into this trap, because as you get the hang of, once you get your routines down and it's no longer a new thing for you to be working out, you've pretty much got it. It's really easy for us to kind of just get in and get out and pick up the weights that we're used to and do the workouts that we're used to. But there will come a point where those workouts lose effectiveness because your body has become accustomed to that movement. So if you want to keep seeing progress, then you have to continue to push your limits and challenge yourself. So if one day, or let's say on day 10 of your fitness journey, you're bicep curling 10 pounds, and then on day 50, and then on day 90, and then on day 120, you're still bicep curling those 10 pounds, then it's safe to say that you're not challenging yourself the way that you should. And this can absolutely just keep you right in the same place. And that's so frustrating because you might be like, I am doing everything. I'm working out. I'm not just sitting on my butt all day. Why is a weight not coming off? Why am I stuck here? And that's because you have not been challenging yourself the way that you can. One thing I like to do here, because this is something that everybody will face, it doesn't matter what level you are in your fitness journey or what your particular goals are. What I like to do is after each set, I will kind of check in with myself and be like, what was the level of effort that I had to exert for that workout? Was it like 10 out of 10? I was like dying. Was it like 8 out of 10? It was challenging, but I still had a little bit of juice left. Or was it a 6 or a 4? And sometimes I can get so caught up in the motions, and I'm like, ooh, actually I checked in and that was like a 5. So let me go back in and redo that, because I'm not going to make progress if I'm just doing what feels comfortable, doing what I'm used to. I'm seeing some comments here. Agree. I saw a question, I believe. Let me make sure I'm getting to that before I keep moving on. Do you recommend going premium on MyFitnessPal? I've never had to. I don't recommend it. I don't really see a benefit. I don't think that they really give you much. And yeah. Can more cardio help? More cardio is never necessary. If you like cardio, that's just your vibe, you enjoy it and it makes you happy, then yeah, do it because you like it. But I wouldn't say more cardio is like necessarily going to be, it's not going to give you like a major return on your investment. What is going to give you a better return on your investment is going back to number 1, which was a sedentary lifestyle. Like if you're just sedentary, then like adding an hour of cardio isn't necessarily, it's not necessary, just don't be sedentary. Like get up every hour, or go plan to walk in the beginning or the end of your day, or maybe do some like chores around the house, stand up more, and you can honestly achieve the same results as doing a lot of cardio when not having to do any cardio, just moving your body more. So I wouldn't say cardio. Most people that I know don't like it. And what I would hate for you to get involved in is like a type of working out that you don't like, and then feeling like, oh, I hate this. I don't want to keep this up. I don't see myself doing this long term, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. Is they'll start a diet, they'll start a workout plan because it promises like super fast, effective results, but they hate it. And then they like can't wait until it's over so they can stop doing it. And this is not what we want. If you want to keep your results, not just get the results, if you want to keep them, then it's important that you like what you're doing. So if you love cardio, go for it. If you don't love cardio, please know you don't have to do it. Good question. Okay, and now let's go back to, let's see, where did we start? With workouts not challenging you. So if your goal too is to build muscle, which I'm assuming if you're watching this masterclass, you probably don't just want to deflate, right? I'm guessing when you drop the body fat, you want to have some muscle there, you want to have some curves there, you don't want to just be like a shrunken down version of yourself. So it's important here too, when it comes to building muscle, that you're challenging yourself, because muscle's not going to grow if you're doing just the same old thing and you're never pushing your limits. In fact, the very process of building muscle is to break the current muscle down, so your body has to rebuild it bigger and stronger. If you're never doing that, the muscle doesn't really grow. You'll be stronger, but the muscle won't really grow. Now, number 5, eating food that is high in calories but nutritionally absent. This is big for us vegans. This is big because there is no shortage in processed food for us now. When I first went vegan, I want to say it was 8 years ago now. It's almost, and it'll be 8 years in October. When I went vegan, there was not much. Like the plant-based options, the meat alternatives were not good. They were like very grainy, and they were just horrible. They didn't taste good. So it was easier to be eating a whole food plant-based diet at that time, because that's really the only option we had. But now newer vegans or vegetarians, people who are plant-based, you have everything. There's cheese, there's meat, there's chicken, there's fish, like there's even egg. And we literally don't have to sacrifice at all when it comes to flavor or things that maybe we missed that we ate growing up. But where that can bite us in the butt is now we're just eating a standard American diet, but a vegan version. So the food's high in calories, and the marketing on the packages of the vegan stuff will get you because it'll say vegan, high protein, whatever, organic, no soy, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. In fact, like, that's one thing that really, like, it really gets me with a lot of these vegan brands is I love the fact that we have these options. I want us to have these options. Who doesn't want like an Impossible Burger here and there? I think we should have it. But what really bothers me is a lot of these vegan brands are trying to pull at the people who see vegan as healthy. You can be vegan and be overweight. You can be vegan and be very unhealthy. So vegan does not mean health, but because the marketing teams of these products know that people think vegan and health, they try to create packaging, marketing for these products that promote health, and they're not healthy. Like, if you were to look at the Beyond Meat packaging, it says non-GMO, soy-free, like high protein. And to the average person, they're going to see that being like, this must be healthy. And it's not. In fact, it's a high calorie food product that has very little nutritional content. So if you're having a lot of calories, but you're actually feeding your body very little quality food, this could be a big reason why you're not getting where you want to go. Even if you're hitting your calories, even if you're working out, even if you're doing all the other things right, if your diet consists of a lot of processed food, you're not actually giving your body the fuel that it needs to get you where you want to go. Protein options besides tofu and legumes, please. I'll get to that in one sec. Trying to be sober, have you done any liver cleanse? That I definitely have. But I will answer that question when I finish these 7 because it's a little bit off topic of what I'm talking about here. But like, yes, actually, I did a podcast. If you guys don't follow my podcast, you should. It's called the Vegan Goddess Podcast. 2 episodes ago, I talked all about a liver cleanse that I did. So if you're curious on like my opinion on that, that might be a good one to tune into. Protein options besides tofu and legumes. I love tofu and legumes. So those are my go-to, but you can do like tempeh. You can do, I mean, that's the thing is I might not be the right one to ask for this because I'm not someone that advocates for a really high protein diet. I know a lot of people, especially like in the fitness space, they're super obsessed. Everyone's obsessed with protein. Everyone's like, if you have this magic ingredient, protein, all your dreams will come true. You'll have all your body goals and blah, blah, blah. But it's actually not the case. In fact, like I don't really hit protein hard with any of my clients and they get results. So I know so many people like, but the science says protein. I understand, and I don't think we should have like 0 protein, but I don't think we should be like on a constant hunt for what has it. Like if you have a whole food plant-based diet, your diet is rich in all kinds of plant ingredients. You have legumes, you have beans, you have tofu, you have tempeh, and sure, maybe the occasional like Impossible Burger or whatever. You have pumpkin seeds and all the things, like you will be fine. Like I haven't tracked protein and I don't know how long, and I still continue to build muscle. It's just not something I concern myself with. But I mean, if you wanted the help of like protein shakes, you could do that too. Protein bars, like what is usually in a protein shake and a protein bar is going to be like a soy protein isolate or a pea protein isolate. And that's fine too. If you want to increase your protein intake, you can also do that as well. But I'm not really one that thinks you should stress about it. I think not worry more, but focus more on a high quality diet and eating in the right quantities for your goals. Number 6, the 6th thing that tends to interfere with people's weight loss, progress, goals, slows it down. And I know you guys are not going to want to hear this because I didn't want to hear it. When I was trying to lose my 30 pounds of relationship weight, this was a truth I didn't want to hear. I wanted to just be like blind deaf to it. I don't hear it. And that's alcohol consumption. And for those of you that like enjoy your wine, your cocktail, maybe like dinner and drinks with your friends every now and then, I know it's really hard because that might be something that you're not willing to give up. And I'm not suggesting that you do give it up unless you feel that pulling that you should. Like if you determine or if you've been kind of feeling like maybe it's not serving the same purpose it used to for you as it did before, or I don't know, you're just not feeling good, then I advocate for you to try a sober streak for a bit. Like I've done it several times in my life and I loved it, and it reminded me like, hey, who am I when alcohol is not present? Remembering that like I don't need to have this to have fun and all that stuff. So I actually just finished like a 9-month break from alcohol, and now I'll have like a beer here and there, but I'm still not a big drinker. But alcohol consumption is going to interfere with your progress. Like, in no quantities is alcohol healthy for you. And I know, like, similar to like the meat and dairy industry, similar to the pharmaceutical industry, tobacco, they are trying to find studies that can demonstrate that this product is healthy for you. But recent studies have shown that no quantity of alcohol is going to benefit your health. In every case, it's going to take away more than it gives. So we have to really like determine what role alcohol is to play in our lives, because in most cases, it's just a bunch of empty calories and it's hard on the liver. Our livers are already very overburdened, which is why I did a cleanse that I kind of mentioned a second ago. Our livers already are like desperately needing to be taken care of, just with all of our environmental toxins, the toxins we find in our food, metals. Like, we are already so overwhelmed with toxins in modern society. Our body doesn't need an extra thing of us like drinking this poison that's making it harder for our livers to catch up. So I recommend cutting down on your alcohol consumption if you have some really serious goals to hit. It's going to benefit you a whole lot. And also, generally, with alcohol consumption comes hangovers, meaning you're craving junk food the next day, not really exercising, you're dehydrated. Like, it's a whole domino effect. It's not just that one like evening of drinking, it's the evening plus all the decisions and the things that happen after that too, that also play a role that we have to consider. So try focusing on these goals so hard that you allow alcohol to take a backseat for a little bit. And I don't think you should ever say, I will never drink again, unless you really feel ready to make that decision. But it's so okay to say, like, let me give myself 90 days of not drinking and see how my body feels at that point, and then I'll reevaluate. In fact, that is how I went vegan. I didn't go right into it thinking I'm going to be vegan 8 years later talking to you all. I did it 14 days. I'm like, max I can commit to is 14 days because I don't think I can be vegan. And then here I am 8 years later. So never like tell yourself you can never have something again. Commit to very short periods of time. Just commit to a day at a time if that's what will help. Now, number 7, and I should mention, I have a bonus one, so I guess I should have titled this the 8 things and not the 7 things. But the 7th thing I have is stress or poor stress management. Sometimes there's nothing we can do to avoid our stressful lives. Like, if you have kids, if you run a business, if you work a very fast-paced job, or just have like some factors in your life that you can't control, it may not be possible to just eliminate your stress. But what you can do is maybe work on improving your reaction to the stressful situation. And that could be maybe meditating, that could be journaling, or that could be just putting space between the things that tend to bring you stress, and give yourself time to just like collect yourself and be with yourself and your own energy and like take care of you. Because stress, when we experience high levels of stress for a prolonged period of time, it can affect our cortisol levels, it can affect our blood sugar, and it can make it very, very difficult to get rid of belly fat. So if you find that you carry weight in the belly region and it's just so stubborn and it doesn't go away no matter how hard you work out, I want you to check in with yourself and see how stressed are you and how good are you at managing the stress. Now, this can be a difficult question because some people are so used to having the stress that they don't even realize they are stressed anymore. So you might ask them, they're like, no, I'm not stressed. Like, I feel fine. Like, I'm busy and I have a crazy schedule, but I'm not stressed, because they don't even know what it feels like anymore to not be stressed. I think regardless of whether you handle stress well, you have it or you don't have it or whatever, everyone can benefit from taking time to just take care of their human. And this is a huge reason why I advocate for proper nutrition and a workout plan, and just making sure you're taking care of your body, because you're going to be a lot more effective at making sure you're managing stress appropriately when your body is taken care of. Your body's going to be under more stress if you're stressed from your schedule, your life, and you're unhealthy. That's like ultimate stress, and it's going to make it even that much more difficult to change the composition of your body at that point. So how are you managing stress? How are you handling stress? Are there some things in your life that you could get rid of? Maybe create some boundaries with people that are really like demanding in your life, or create more me time. That's going to look different for you because everyone's way of coping is different. But really check in with this one, because this is a huge one. No matter how well you eat or how much you work out or all the things that you do, if you're super stressed and your hormone levels are all crazy, it's gonna really be hurting your progress. And that brings me to number 8, the bonus one, which is poor gut health and or hormone imbalance. So you can stress for so long that you literally send your hormones like into a frenzy. And it can make it difficult at that point too. Like let's say, anyway, it can make it difficult at that point too to reach the goals that you want to reach. And same thing with your gut health. Stress also hurts the gut, amongst other things. A lot of things can hurt the gut. Toxins, alcohol, a lot of things can hurt the gut. Processed food. So the reason why this was a bonus one is because if you were to address 1 through 7, you're more likely going to be taking care of your gut. So for example, I talked about making sure you're not eating like nutrient absent food. So by having a variety of plant ingredients and eating a whole food plant-based diet, you're going to do a lot of good for your gut as well as for your hormones. Exercising regularly, not being sedentary, managing your stress is going to do a lot for your hormones as well. So this is one to consider, but I didn't want to make it as 1 through 7 because although it is a real factor that many women deal with, if you focus on 1 through 7, you're going to take care of a lot of that there. So those are my 7. I'm going to run through them really quick one more time, just in case there's one that you missed. So the 7 things that interfere with weight loss progress or results, and I'm going to name these in no particular order. Number 1 is a sedentary lifestyle. Even if you work out, you can still be sedentary. Number 2, you're not bought in to the journey mentally. Maybe you don't believe you can get there. Maybe you don't trust the program that you're in. Number 3, you are not accurately tracking your food and eating more or less, but nonetheless, it's interfering with your results. Number 4 is you are no longer pushing yourself to the best of your abilities during your workouts. Number 5, you're eating food that is high in calories, but pretty absent in nutrition, aka a lot of processed food. Number 6, alcohol consumption. I know, I don't want to hear it either, but it's true. And then lastly, number 7 is stress or poor stress management. So I hope that this helped, because as you can see here, weight loss is not just about how much you're eating or how much you're working out or working out more or eating less. There are a lot of factors that can really determine how fast or slow you reach the goals.